Hi, John. Congratulations on your 12th year hosting the Mosswood Meltdown.
Yeah.
What has kept you coming back for a dozen
These
years?
are my people. I feel way more comfortable here than I do at the Folsom Street Fair. These are more of my people. They have more sense of humor. Folsom Street Fair is an really extreme other version of something I went to. But here, these are my people, definitely. I've always liked the punks and the people they hang around with because they hate everybody in the world except themselves. So here is a very good mood here. It's like a great thing, but they're wary of anybody else.
John, when I think of your early films, I think about Female Trouble and that great mohawk look and that incredible outfit that Van Smith put together for Divine. That became kind of an early punk icon, that image.
Well, Vivienne Westwood even used that image in the sex shop in Lynn without anything about the movie or anything. She as they called a reference that means stealing in fashion. But she had it on a t-shirt even before I knew about punk, almost right before when it first came out, when Female Trouble first came out. So it is a good look, and he did it so there was more room for eye makeup. It went all the way around to the back of Divine's head.
And your film Desperate Living, in some countries that title is translated to Punk Story.
Italy, they give it the worst titles. Hairspray was called Fat is Beautiful there. That's really a bad translation. Yeah. But it was called Punk Story, which had nothing to do with punk, the plot of Desperate Living, at all.
I wonder if you consider yourself a little bit of a proto-punk or a kind of godfather aesthetically.
Well, someone else could say that. I don't brag. I just say that Pink Flamingos definitely was a punk movie before there was that word. We had to strip their hair, dye it with ink and magic marker. Now your mother has that color hair that she got the dye at Rite Aid.
So do you have any favorite punk rock fashion signatures?
Well, I think that the punk rock Jordan was my favorite. The girl that had that geometric makeup and the spiked hair and everything. I mean, when Divine first saw Jordan, he said he felt like Plain Jane.
So Iggy Pop is performing again this year at the Mosswood Meltdown.
Yeah.
What was it like directing Iggy and Crybaby?
Iggy was great. He was freshly sober. He was really serious about it. He was, and he had to do all the scenes with Susan Terrell, who was drunk for the whole movie. So he was a pro always, and a great actor, funny, and I've introduced him here before. He played here before. He's the best of all. I mean, it's Iggy Pop. I'm afraid to say his name out loud. You shouldn't be allowed to say it out loud.
Are there other acts you're looking forward to this year?
I look forward to all the new ones that I don't know, in a way, to see the young ones. We always need young blood here. And so I like to see some of the young ones for the first time. So I'm always interested in the ones that I don't know. But it takes a long time. I introduce every act, so it's a lot of research. It takes like almost a month, really, to write the whole thing. So I do all the research, and I familiarize myself with them before I actually go on and introduce them.
So with all your research, are there any performers you have a crush on this year?
Well, I certainly wouldn't tell you if it was, because it would be embarrassing when I meet them. They think I'm like horn dogging them in the dressing room or something, which something I would never do.
So you live here in San Francisco part of the year.
I mean, I have an apartment here, so definitely I am a resident here sometimes. Yeah, I live in 4 places, and I did 59 shows on the road this year. So where do I live? That is a odd question. Baltimore is still my primary residence.
Do you have any favorite punk venues here in the Bay Area?
God, in the Bay Area, I haven't been to a punk. I always come to this. Mosswood is my favorite of all the punk rock places in the Bay Area, definitely here. The other one would be the Store Club in Oakland.
Of course.
Which has Tuesday trans night. To me, that's a niche. Mm-hmm. And it's crowded.
So
that to me is amazing yeah.
So talk to me about, do you have any tips for people out there that are punks of the original generation? How does one age in a punk way?
Well, it's not so hard to age punk-wise. It's a classic look. What looks silly is if you try to look young, you can still be an old punk and have that radical look. I love it when pretty, sexy girls try to make themselves ugly. That's punk. It's taking your best characteristics and ruining them. That's the opposite of what most people do. So I love that the idea of beauty in the punk world is sometimes the very opposite of what it is in real life.
Oakland has been the home of this festival since the beginning. Do you feel like Oakland is especially punk? Like, is there a great reason why it continues to be held here?
Well, Oakland reminds me of Baltimore some, but that's kind of cliche, and it's not the Brooklyn of San Francisco at all anymore.
I would never say that.
It isn't that either. So it's its own, and as Gertrude Stein says, there is a there. She was wrong. And that there is here today. That there is here, and it's here today in Mosswood.
What about Oakland reminds you of Baltimore that's so interesting?
A lot. I mean, that it's heavy African American, which Baltimore is 70%. So I'm like used to that. When I see this many white people, I'm scared. And,
Me too.
And it just has some bad neighborhoods, but Baltimore, that's why there's a bohemia still. That's why there is in Oakland, because you need a scary neighborhood to open the new fancy restaurant. You need a bad housing so gay people can redo it and flip it. And you need that to have bohemia. You have to have it a little unsafe. So it's always been bohemia started in a neighborhood that was not upscale.
Now, last big question here, John. I'm curious, can an event with tickets that cost upwards of $400 sometimes be truly punk?
Sure it can, because everything costs $400. A Coke costs $400 in a drugstore. Can it be punk? I think it can. I think it's something that you look forward to and you save your money. Maybe the people that break into cars, maybe that's what they're doing, is getting money to come to the punk festival. You never know. They get it somehow. We don't ask where you got the money when you buy the tickets here. But it goes to show that the people here, I never hear anybody complaining about how everything costs ridiculous amounts of money, wherever you go. So it's just, I don't know. Look at all this. It's not easy to put on. Iggy doesn't do it for free, believe me. And I don't either. So everybody gets paid very well here, and each year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So you can ask me, I guess inflation has hit here just like everywhere else, but I don't think any more shockingly than anywhere else.
And last question, John. You have a merchandise booth here at Mosswood this year. What might your fans get to buy over there if they're not already sold out?
There is hats and shirts that say, "I'm a John Waters hag." I think that's a new one. We have talking buttons that say, "Eat me, get away from me," all different stuff. We have handkerchiefs that already have snot on it, like that one. Yeah. Oh. So we have quite some items over there, and they're selling like hotcakes. The puke bags, we cannot keep them in stock. I found the puke bags, I signed 1,000 of them yesterday, and they're going to be gone.